That's all I can think of. Hello, folks. Let's see, we don't have Zane, we don't have Randall, we don't have Alyssa. Maybe we'll get them.
It's 11 o'clock.
Thank you. We'll wait a couple minutes and see if anyone else shows up. I have both Cece and Jenny in here with me. So I do have more people than it looks like, but so you guys, I think all of you, hang on, let me look here. Schedules. US history. Okay, everybody except for Zane has the US history final tomorrow, the EOC. So y'all will be here for that. The chances that y'all will be in my class are pretty slim. I wouldn't think that you'd be here. Are you leaving? Yeah, we're discussing the book today because we don't have class tomorrow since y'all will be in the test. So we're just going to do a little bit of discussion today about The Great Gatsby, and then on Friday we'll do review like Quizlets, Kahoots, whatever. So I'm just going to ask you guys some questions that I'm probably not going to keep you the whole time, because I actually have a meeting starting at 11:45, so I can't keep you the whole time. But let's see. Most importantly, I think this is one of the most important parts. What part of his past is Gatsby trying to recapture?
The time he had with Daisy during the military time.
Can you say it again? You're really quiet for some reason.
Sorry, I'm not near the mic. You're trying to recapture the past when he was with Daisy in the military.
Yes, when he was with Daisy, when he was in the military. And you got to think he was pretty young at that point.
Hopeless romantic. Don't forget about that part.
Hopeless romantic, 100%. And like,
I can't deny, and I respect this man because I'm also a hopeless romantic.
I think that there is like a fine line between being a hopeless romantic, but then also being like unrealistic. And he just takes it to kind of the extreme, He even says, you can repeat the past. Nick's like, you can't repeat the past, Gatsby. And he's like, of course you can. Do you think you can?
No. For me, the past is the past, but it's better to learn from it and try to do better. For me, I personally believe in no matter what you did, no matter how far or how ugly your past is, you can always change no matter what. It's going to take a long freaking process, but hey, better than nothing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And he is so focused on recapturing it exactly, like recreating it, that he wants to totally wipe out the last 5 years. And you just can't do that. Like, we've all changed in 5 years. We've all grown in 5 years. I want to go back to the very last little paragraph because I think it has some stuff to do with that. And also sort of emphasizes what one of the main messages of the whole book. So the very end says, as I sat there brooding on the old unknown world, I thought of Gatsby's wonder when he first picked out the green light at the end of Daisy's dock. He had come a long way to this blue lawn, and his dream must have seemed so close that he could hardly fail to grasp it. He did not know that it was already behind him, somewhere back in that vast obscurity beyond the city, where the dark fields of the Republic rolled on under the night. Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch out our arms farther, and one fine morning, so we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. I think that says a lot about Gatsby's whole mindset, as well as the message that's being communicated through this whole book. Like, Gatsby is, like LeBron said, a hopeless romantic. He's a dreamer, and he is so focused on achieving his greatest dream, which is Daisy and the life that they could have had together. And I think it's very sad that he's like, he did not know that it was already behind him. Like, he can't achieve what he wants because it's in the past. But that last bit about how Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. The green light is probably the biggest symbol in the whole book. And, you know, we see it for the first time when Nick sees Gatsby for the first time. Gatsby's like standing on his dock and just like reaching out towards the green light. And like his hands are trembling. And we find out later that it's the green light at the end of Daisy's dock. We don't know that at the time. But it sort of represents this this extreme sense of hope and like a goal that you're reaching towards. I think it's probably also symbolic that it's green because green is money. But and we know that Gatsby loves money. He's been trying to get rich. Hey, what's up? Mm-hmm. Randall's not.
Hey, Nelson.
LeBron says hi.
Also, that COVID vaccine stuff, I got a different reaction. I don't feel nothing.
What?
As I got a different reaction from most people. I feel fine. I got my second shot. I feel dandy.
He got his second shot and he feels dandy.
You got a second shot and feel dandy?
Yeah.
Nice.
Good. When did you get it?
Yesterday.
Where is our meeting? We have the high school department meeting at lunch.
Oh, yeah, I guess Washington.
Okay.
But back on Gatsby, yeah. For me, I see him trying to do the whole what Hollywood's now doing, trying to get back nostalgia.
Yeah. Yeah, nostalgia is such a huge part of it. And, you know, sometimes we look back on times in our life that we're like, oh, if it could just be like that again, things would be good. But we can't ever totally recapture it. It could never be exactly what it was before because you've changed since then and life has gone on since then. Like, short of having a time machine, you really can't recapture it. The other big symbol other than the green light is the billboard with the eyes of Dr. TJ Eckelberg. And they mentioned it a few times about how it's like looking out over the Valley of Ashes, which the Valley of Ashes is where George Wilson's mechanic shop is. And it's kind of like the gross part in between West and East Ag. And then George Wilson, when he is like kind of having a little bit of a breakdown, he's like, God's always watching you. And he points towards the billboard of the big eyes and kind of like indicates that that is God. Obviously, it's not in a literal sense, but figuratively, it sort of is. It's, you know, it's meant to represent that like we're all being watched, we're all being accountable, we're like being held accountable for our actions. But it's just a really interesting symbol of it. Probably the climax is when Gatsby confronts Tom in New York and is like, hey, your wife is going to run away with me. We're in love and there's nothing you can do about it. And at first she's like, yes, I am leaving you. But then she starts kind of faltering. And by the end of that scene, it's clear that she's not going to leave with Gatsby. Did that choice surprise you? Did you think that she would wind up with Gatsby? Did you think she would be with Tom the whole time?
No,
What did you think was going to happen?
I mean, we because first love, you can't never get over first love.
Yeah, you can never get over your first love. And I don't think she did. I think she did love him, but I think she's a practical woman, and kind of knows if she wants to like maintain her lifestyle, then she's got to kind of put aside this fanciful idea that she has. And like, yeah, it's fun to have one last fling with your first love, but it's not more than that. She's got a kid with Tom, you know?
Speaking of that kid, I believe she didn't give two craps about it. If she didn't have that kid or didn't feel like, oh, if I leave, I'll be shamed upon this fancy community, she'll do it.
Yeah, I feel like her kid to her is more of like a status symbol than a person, because the only time she even talks about the kid are like when other people ask or like to kind of brag. And it's almost like the one scene where she is actually like talking to the kid, it's almost like she's a doll or something. She's just like, oh, let's see like how pretty you look and like let me see your new dress.
So the crazy woman from the movie May with a porcelain doll. Got it. If no one's seen the movie May, I recommend it. It's really good.
Wait, what movie?
It's a movie called May.
I have seen that movie. It's so weird. I don't know if I've ever met anyone else who's seen that movie.
I rewatched it and I still loved it. I still love the idea of just a crazy chick making dolls.
Yeah, she's insane. She's an insane person.
But back on the thing, yeah, she treats her kid like a porcelain doll.
Yeah, she kind of does. And I think we do see like a little bit of her humanity, particularly there's the scene that like on the surface is kind of weird when Gatsby is like showing her around and he's like throwing his shirts out and she just starts crying and she's like, I've never seen such beautiful shirts before. And like, I don't think she's crying at these beautiful shirts. I think that that's her moment of being like, oh, I missed out on so much with you. And like, you love me so much. And her husband doesn't love her as much. And, you know,
Oh, they got a mistress.
the man's got a mistress and has had mistresses. Like, he's been fooling around on her since they got married and probably before, but like literally they
divorced.
just gotten back from their honeymoon when he was found with another woman. So
Dang, that ruined the honeymoon.
yeah, and like maybe he loves her, but he definitely doesn't respect her if that's what he's been doing the whole time. Certainly not.
That's the age of the mistresses. What else you kept that word around?
Yeah, I feel like we don't really say mistress anymore. What do we say? Side piece, I guess.
Yep, a side piece, side chick. I like the word, like, let's keep it fancy. The mistress.
The mistress. It does sound a
There's
lot
one thing I
more.
really like about this class, and
What?
it is literally the most laid back show class I think I've ever been in. 'Cause nobody cares if you just said side piece.
Yeah. I don't know, what else is it? You know, I don't know what else to call
I don't
it.
think yeah, you got a point. We don't really say mistress anymore.
Because I think we stopped saying the word mistress because it sounds much fancier as
Yeah.
than I think she did. Like his mistress. I'm like, don't give her that fancy name. Give her the side piece. I feel like we said that to be more rude.
Yeah, I also feel like mistress kind of implies that like they're being taken care of. And like in Myrtle's case, yeah, she's got like a whole apartment. He buys her a dog. He's got all this stuff. I feel like if you're just talking about like a side piece, you could like you don't have any obligation to that person necessarily. I feel like mistresses are usually like kept in like in a separate house and like taken care of.
What do you call a male?
What do you call a
man?
male? Yeah.
Oh. I know what to say, but it's inappropriate. I can't say that.
I feel like side piece still works for a
No.
man.
It's something we
But-
don't know. I can't call it.
Cece and Jenny definitely have like a more inappropriate word in mind. But
What's it called? Let them say you read my poem and you were like, man, this is inappropriate. So let them say it.
It's like the side and I teach you.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that.
What they say?
Use some more inappropriate words. Just to
Yeah,
incorporate
that's like
it. I'm looking at that right now.
one of the few words that
It's
I
called a
will not say.
paramour.
A paramour.
Girl, nobody gonna call that a
I never knew. Well, I never knew that paramour had the implication of being like.
Well, okay, technically, there is no male equivalent, but
So like, that's it. For the ghetto people, we were like, that's that.
we're
That's that boy. She be talking to him about like going out with me.
Okay, okay.
But
I
that's the
see.
boys.
There's not like a fancy version of it. There's not like a male version of mistress. You couldn't be like, that's my mister. No.
well, that's what I'm reading right here. It says for a male mistress, the term mister can be used. Paramour is sometimes used, but this term can apply to either partner in an illicit relationship, so it's not exclusively male.
Okay.
If the male is being
Yeah, I didn't I didn't know that it was like illicit because I've heard people be like, oh, that's her new paramour. Not in like normal conversation, but probably in like old movies and stuff. I don't know that I know anyone who recently has been like, this is my paramour. You
I'm
know,
not gonna lie, we're bringing back old words, so I'm not gonna be surprised we brung back paramour. We brung the sheesh. That was a freaking 50s word.
bro, what?
Sheesh.
Oh, sheesh.
Yeah, we brung that back.
Yeah.
I think we brung back the dames. I love that word because of noirs and books.
Dames.
Yeah,
I don't know that I'd say we've brought it back. I don't really hear it that often. And some people would be offended by it. I don't think it's offensive, but
I use the word dandy. That's an old British slang.
like instead of women, dames. But also like dame is a title in England, like Dame Judi Dench, Dame Maggie Smith. It's just like a woman. It's like, you know how sometimes people like in old timey movies and stuff will call women broads. It's kind of like that.
We still kept that. We still
You know,
kept that.
You don't hear broads very often.
I think I go north, but hey, I use the word dandy, and that's an old British word meaning dressed nice or well dressed.
Yeah, we actually we just finished Victorian literature in my English 4 class, and we talked about dandies because they have like the two main characters in the play we read are dandies. Just like very concerned with the way they look and like being in the right place in society and stuff like that.
And I do use the definition like the way you look. Like every time I say like I'm one dandy man.
Yeah.
I'm well dressed.
Well dressed, taking care of yourself, very concerned with looking good.
Yep. More specifically, my skin and hair, but that's it. Fingers, feet,
I don't know if anybody's feet are like like those are the feet of a dandy. I don't think that's a thing. Okay, so before we started reading, I had y'all write about what you thought the American dream looked like, and I got a lot of different responses, but several people said the same thing, which was essentially that like anybody can make it in America, and that is kind of, I feel like the American dream has changed now since like whenever that term was invented, but it did used to mean basically that like no matter who you are, like whether you were born in this country, immigrated here, whatever else, you have the opportunity to build yourself up. And yeah, sometimes that looks like you know, marriage, 2 kids, a dog, a white picket fence, but whatever you want to achieve, you have the opportunity to do it here in America. And so Gatsby, like a lot of people kind of see him as representing the American dream because he did kind of come from nothing and he invented this whole self and got all this money. Now his acquisition of the American dream involved bootlegging and like doing illegal deals and stuff, but what he wanted was to be important and to have this life that people would be envious of, which was one reason he lied about it. He like bigged himself up in order to be impressive, and now in the end it didn't really come to anything, unfortunately. But why do you think that the author Fitzgerald had the book written or told from Nick's point of view? I mean, Nick's not like the main part of the story. Why would
I
we?
believe he. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
No, just like why would he choose to have Nick be the narrator?
I personally believe it. I personally believe he used it like in the story. Use a character no one knows about, or no one even cares too much about, for the audience perspective. Since we
Okay.
don't know who these characters are, Nick would be a good person. Like he's our POV. He can see what he can describe to us, the reader, what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's been used in many different stories, like in mangas, comics, novels. They use that. They use another character to tell the story, to
Mm-hmm.
bring someone into someone else's world.
Okay. I think that's fair to say. And he's like a little bit more of a normal person. So might be able to like give a point of view on these other people who were like less normal, less relatable, to kind of bring in those of us who are normal people that are reading the book. Because Tom and Daisy, you know, if it was told from one of their points of view, who even knows what it would look like? Because they're just so like rich and fashionable and bored. And Tom, if we read it from Tom's perspective, it'd probably be like, my wife is a cheater and I don't like her very much, but I'm also cheating and we need to ban the white race and destroy all the other races, and nobody'd want to read that. Daisy's point of view, I don't know what it would look like, but Gatsby would definitely be an unreliable narrator, even more unreliable than Nick. But let's talk about the title, The Great Gatsby. Why is he called The Great Gatsby? Do you think he's great? What makes him great? If so, do you think he's not great at all?
I feel like it's like in the middle.
In the
Like,
middle.
He's great because he's just like a man who's like wants love is back,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not great because I feel like he said he like bootleg whatever.
Yeah.
He's not a good guy, but he's good.
Yeah.
He's the man. He's
Yeah.
like crazy, but he's not a good.
He's a good man, but he's not a good guy. I like that distinction. Yeah.
Going off the definition of like
For some reason, I feel like in the story, why they call it The Great Gap, I feel like Nick wrote this.
Hey, hang on one second. It's Cece. I know you can't hear Cece, but she is talking.
Yeah, sorry.
an extent, amount, or intensity considerably above the normal.
Yeah.
So, or an important or distinguished person.
Important or distinguished person.
Maybe back then it was important, distinguished.
Yeah. In fact, my English teacher my senior year, he hated the word great because he would like read out the definition and be like, this is what it means, and we don't use it that way anymore. We say everything is great. Like, oh, this is a great TV show, and it's like, you know, some crappy reality thing. And so he would charge us 50 cents every time we used the word great. He's like, I don't want to hear it. And he would try to trick us into saying it, and we had to give him 50 cents every time. It's crazy. But I think Jenny raised a good point. Like, it's kind of both, and I think it could be taken sincerely or kind of ironically. LeBron, what were you gonna say?
I'm gonna say The Great Gatsby. I feel like Nick wrote this, telling us to realize how great he was as this guy. Like, hey, he built himself up. The one
Yeah.
problem is that he was a hopeless romantic. He didn't know how to move on. So I believe Nick chose that name.
And keep in mind that at the end, like the last thing that he says to Gatsby, like the last time he sees him alive, is that he says, "You're worth the whole damn bunch put together." Like Nick really did love Gatsby, and he did seem to think he was great, even though he saw through his ugliness, the front that he put up. He still really cared about him, and at least Gatsby was like sincere, whereas Tom and Daisy and even Jordan seemed to just be sort of like two-faced and shallow. And in the end, Gatsby was the only one. I think even in the beginning, he said Gatsby was the only one that I still like, even after all this time. Like he was the only one who was exempt from my judgment. And so I think you're right. Like from Nick's point of view, he is great in all the ways that we think of it. But I think you can kind of see it the other way too. Like maybe it's sort of an ironic title, because if you think about like the great whoever, like the only people that nickname's really attributed to are people who have achieved a lot. Like Babe Ruth was known as the Great Bambino, like people who have been significant and achieved things. And when we really look past Gatsby's facade, he's not great. There's not much going on with him because he's not even real. So like the idea that he is great is kind of overblown. Like he's just a character. He's not even a real person. Okay. I'm only gonna ask one or two more questions, then I'm gonna let you guys go. When Gatsby says, and keep in mind that he loves Daisy, so this is not meant as like an insult or anything, but he says her voice is full of money. What do you think that indicates about her?
Like she wants to talk about like expensive things. Like when she talks about like, expensive stuff.
Yeah, the only thing she talks about is expensive stuff.
It's a question from the canvas.
These aren't on canvas, I'm just asking him. Yeah, and that like money is just essential to who she is. She's always been rich, and there is such a big difference between people who are born rich and people who get money later on. Like yeah, like old money is so different than new money. Like if you were born into not even necessarily poverty, but like not having a whole lot of money, the idea of like what you can do with a lot of money is crazy. And if you get it, it's you I feel like you appreciate it more.
Yeah, I feel like if you were born without money, then you would learn how to develop money.
Yeah.
Be more independent and being reliant on yourself, relying on yourself other than somebody else. But growing up rich, you don't care as long as you got money.
Yeah.
You just make sure that your bank account looks very
Yeah, exactly. It's like you don't even understand what all it can do, or like what not having it would change for you.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes me think of, go ahead.
That's why it kind of doesn't make sense. Like where people are like, oh, well, just invest your money. Blah, blah, blah. Like that doesn't make any sense to me because I am investing my money and nothing's happening. So
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you have to have money to save money or invest money. And like the more you have, the more you'll generate. But like, how do you start that, you know?
That's what
they just not telling us everything.
like growing up rich is like also like I guess I don't know about the Kardashians. I'll just like from my point of view, somebody you just pay somebody like a family person like to do their taxes or
Oh
see how their
yeah.
money working. But growing up without growing up rich, you just have to, you know.
You have to learn how to do everything
That's
yourself.
Like your mom telling you you gotta learn how to do taxes by yourself. So
Yeah.
I feel like you just gotta learn from like younger and talking about how to do it yourself.
Oh yeah, totally. And stuff like buying cars or like big purchases,
You know,
people just kind of like throw their money around. But like with us, people who did not grow up with money, it's like the car I have now, I bought it new, and I was like, I can't believe anyone let me do that. I did not know how much insurance would go up, how much property taxes would go up, all these things that I'm like, I can make the monthly payment, but then there's so much other money.
Without going out rich, I feel like when you buy something that you really want, that when you actually got it, you have to like regret it because now that you got it, you have to understand that you gotta do things for yourself and
Yeah.
use your money wisely. So
Oh,
rich
100%.
people, like they don't care. Like
They don't care. They
I
don't
can
get
get
it.
that back anytime, you know. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not that way for people who didn't grow up with money. It makes me think of the scene where Daisy and Tom come to Gatsby's party, and he is so excited to show off everything to her and like, look what I can do, and look at all these important people who have come to my house. And because she's been rich and privileged her whole life, she's not impressed by any of it. And like he came from nothing originally, and he got all this money and he spent all this money on stuff to impress her, and none of it, she doesn't care about any of it.
But like,
Yeah.
for Daisy, like she got like she could get whatever she wanted. Like she would not be impressed by anything because in a quick minute she could just get it.
She could have it, yeah.
But without going on rich, she's like, oh wow, thank you so much.
Yeah, her house is probably as big as his. It's probably less flashy, but you know, she can get anything she wants. She's not going to be impressed by anything. Okay. It's 11:31 and I am going to let you guys go. I won't see any of y'all tomorrow. I'll see Zane tomorrow and that's it. Probably, unless y'all are done with the exam or your EOC, in which case we'll see. I don't know what we might do tomorrow.
I got U.S. history, so yeah, you'll see me.
Yeah, all of you guys have US history except for Zane. So it kind of depends on how long.
When's the history one?
Tomorrow's US history.
Is that the class I? Give me a second.
See you later.
Wait, actually.
Yeah.
All right.
Schedule.
Well, do you know the schedule for them? Have I missed one?
I know the high school ones, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Tomorrow, wait a minute. This is so weird. Okay.
I haven't missed one, right?
Tomorrow says US history.
Okay.
And then June 7th also says US
No.
history.
For that.
Yeah, she gave us two. She's giving us an ESC and the thing, which is kind of ridiculous, but
Hey, you said if you don't do the test tomorrow, you have to take the final exam.
So that
So
they
we
can
could
add
get
a job.
yeah, she's giving us the test that she made, and then she's giving us the
Okay.
whatever the state thing is.
Why
Which is
would
really ridiculous, but
that like in class?
yeah.
Like just take it like we're in class right now. Just take the
Yeah.
test.
I'm so confused by that. Okay.
Why
Well,
she's making us take both, but
all right. Well, June 7th also
All right.
has US history. None of y'all are in ELA 8. I assume nobody's in algebra 1.
no. I don't think so.
Biology 1. Well, then I guess that's all y'all have is US history
Yeah, I think that is the only one I have, and then I got Stovey's thing that he's just given us.
in class. Like,
Yes, ma'am.
like how that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Well, I will not see y'all tomorrow because of that, but I'll see you Friday.
So is tomorrow the like state one from her, or is that the?
Boy, I just have no idea.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Do you guys know? Is tomorrow the state one and the 7th is?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, tomorrow is the state.
Okay. So I have to go in tomorrow. Shoot, I wanted to sleep.
We're so close to being done.
We are.
You can do it this one.
Yeah, I gotcha. I've worked I put full time on accident.
You what?
Put full time for work.
Oh
I've
no.
worked 60 hours in the last 2 weeks.
That's insane.
I
That's a
had 20, well, I would have worked 63, but I had to get off early one day.
oh,
I had 28 hours and 32 hours last week.
that's a lot.
I've closed 6 times in the last 2 weeks, which is like you get home at like 11:10.
Yeah.
Well, they send me home early since I live downtown,
Oh, okay.
but I still get home at like 11:10. They let me go at like 10:50, which it's still better than leaving at 12-ish.
Oh
But
yeah. It's still
thankfully, on Memorial Day, we got out at 6. We closed at 6.
hmm
We literally closed everything down in 20 minutes because nobody was coming through. It's so weird. So we just pre-closed at like 4,
Yeah.
and nobody got anything for like the next 2 hours. So we were just out of there.
Yeah. I don't blame
Yeah, it
you.
was pretty good.
All right. Well, good
Crashed
luck
last
on
night.
your exam tomorrow. And on your other exam next week.
I crashed my car last night.
You crashed your car?
I know. I was trying to parallel park, and I don't want to park ever again. I was so tired.
What was it?
I smashed, like, floored the gas, flew right back into the car.
Oh my gosh.
I think I just looked into my shoulder.
Oh my gosh.
It
That's
hurt.
terrible.
Oh yeah. It was like I pushed it so hard it hit the car behind it.
Oh no. Is your car badly damaged?
No, none of them are. It's so
Oh,
weird.
wow.
Yeah. I would have been so mad. My car is so nice if I messed it up.
Yeah, you'd be mad at yourself.
Yeah. I drive an AMG, so
Oh,
I would have been so mad if I messed it up.
yeah, I don't blame you. All right. I will see you guys Friday. Good
All
luck
right.
on your exam.
Have a good day.
You too.